Hello everyone, and welcome to the Pedrosa Travel Channel, the channel where every week we take you to a new and fun, exciting adventure that's totally randomized. And this, as you can see, is a little bit of a different episode. We are coming to you on a Tuesday today. Normally we come out with videos on Fridays, but today we are coming out on a Tuesday because I actually, for Christmas, got a new mic set, and we're going to test out our new mic set. So hopefully this new setup is coming out more clear. We're hoping that you can hear us more clear. And we're going to talk about some things today and talk about mostly our year in review and maybe some plans for the future and some announcements for this channel. And we'll get into that. In this video, this is coming out on a Tuesday. And this episode is going to be a little bit different to announce some interesting things for this channel. First of all, 2025 was such a great year. We did so many great things, and I wanted to talk about the budget for last year, the budget for next year, and the plans for this travel channel. So basically, the reason why I'm coming to you on Tuesday is because we had so many adventures in 2025 that 52 episodes was not enough to show you all the things that we did in 2025. And so now I have a surplus of videos. And so I'm going to be trying to catch up on those videos. So at least for the next foreseeable future, we will be releasing videos on Tuesdays and Fridays. Hope you enjoy them. I want to stay relevant on this channel, but I don't want to miss those videos that I did before. So at least for the next couple of months or so, we will be doing 2 episodes a week. And maybe some of them will be like this, where I'm just testing out my new mic system that I got. And some of them will be some videos from 2025. I want to finish my Portugal series. That was an amazing trip. But let's look back. So 2025 was an amazing year. When I'm looking down here at my computer, and we started this year by going to Playa del Carmen, Mexico in Quintana Roo. We went to Quintana Roo. We went to some more pyramids down there. We went to Puerto Morelos, and we went out to Playa del Carmen, and we went out to Cozumel. So that started out the New Year's very strong. And then from there, we bought our Knott's Pass again. We went to Knott's Berry Farm 10 times this year. I still have a video about my last visit. We will not be going to Knott's Berry Farm next year. That is an amazingly cheap pass. So for the 3 of us, we spent $1,018, and that included 3 gold passes that actually were Six Flags gold passes. So even though we only went to Knott's Berry Farm and Soak City, we could have gone to all the Six Flags parks, but we didn't, which is reason why we won't be probably getting the passes next year. But that also included 2 meals per day at Knott's Berry Farm and parking at Knott's Berry Farm, and drinks every 15 minutes. It's an incredible deal for only $1,000. Compare that to any of the Disney passes, and it's just a total bargain. You're not even gonna get close. I think the cheapest pass that you can get here in California is $650 for a Southern California Disney pass, but that will not include parking. And parking is typically like $50 for an amusement park here in California. That is a normal price to pay $50. So to have that included in your price was great. So after our 10 visits, we went to all the theme parks here in Southern California, pretty much. Well, not all of them, but we also went to Universal Studios this year. There was a video on that. Universal Studios is an amazing theme park if you like movies, if you like seeing what's new. I did a great video there about the history of Universal Studios. If you want to see that video, I'll put a link up here. And so that was an amazing time. After that, we saw the Young Ambassadors, which is a singing group from BYU. I also like to include in my adventures dating. I was looking at my overall budget, and so it's interesting. When I look at my overall budget here, there was a lot of dating. Some miscellaneous dating was like $324 worth of just dates that I took with my wife. And then there was another $124 worth of movies. I really don't spend a lot on going out to the movies. There is a budget theater nearby where I live in Moreno Valley called the Towngate 8 Theater. If you haven't been to the Towngate 8 Theater, I would highly recommend that. So you won't see the newest movies at the Towngate 8 Theater, but if you can just wait like 1 week or 2 weeks, you can usually go to the Tailgate 8. They have those nice reclining chairs there, and you can see some great movies there. So anytime I wanted to see a movie at the movie theater, most of the time I see movies at home, I went to the Tailgate 8, which is a budget movie theater. It's like $5 per ticket. So I saw a lot of movies there at the Tailgate 8 in Moreno Valley. So if you're in the Inland Empire area, I would suggest the Tailgate 8 Theater. In March, we went to Sacramento and we saw some amazing things. We went to the Rosie the Riveter. We went to the John Muir Woods. We went to the Folsom Powerhouse. That video got a lot of views and is still getting a lot of views every day. For those who like to learn about our early electricity, that was very interesting. The Folsom Powerhouse, so very interesting. That was actually made by inmates. The inmates from the Folsom prison, the Folsom State Prison, the one that Johnny Cash sings about, that is who built the Folsom power plant. So very interesting. We went down to USC this year and saw the book fair at USC. It was a little bit rainy, I remember. That was in April. And then also in April, we went to Mexico. We went to Aguascalientes, Mexico, to the Feria de San Marcos, the largest fair in Mexico this year. That was amazing. A little bit crowded, but if you are a Mexico fan or want to see the biggest fair in Mexico, the Feria de San Marcos is huge. I love Aguascalientes. Aguascalientes is where a lot of my family's from, and so that was nice. I got to see my family there. Actually, if you didn't know, I'll put the link up here. One of my aunts is in the mural at the governor's palace in Aguascalientes. So the Pedroza family is well known in Aguascalientes for many reasons out there. And if you watch the video, you'll find more about that. And then moving on into May, we went on the Carnival Riggins. We actually traveled, we cruised 3 times this year. And I actually took my first solo cruise. That was very interesting. I took my first solo cruise this year on the Carnival Riggins. I love the Carnival Riggins. It's a smaller ship. They call it a mid-sized ship, but I think these days it would be called a smaller ship. It's older. It used to be called the Carnival Liberty, but now it's the Carnival Riggins. It got refurbed. I think it was in the year 2020. And it is, well, actually 2022, because it had to close down. It was supposed to open up in 2020, but of course COVID hit. And so they didn't actually premiere that ship until 2022. And I sailed on that ship 3 times. It's probably my favorite ship in Carnival. We also went on the Carnival Frenzy. That video is coming up. So we'll be doing a lot more cruising. Spoiler alert, I have 3 more cruises booked for 2026. So look for more cruise videos on this channel. I'm mostly a West Coast cruiser. So if you want to see the West Coast, the destinations that I usually go to are things like Catalina Island, Ensenada, La Paz, Puerto Vallarta, Mazatlan. Those are the ports that I continually go to. I just like the West Coast. I'm a West Coast cruiser. I'm hoping maybe in the future, if the cruise deals come out right, wink, wink, Carnival, you can send me an offer. Maybe I'll do the East Coast. I have not sailed the Caribbean. I've actually sailed in Europe, and Alaska, but not in the Caribbean. So I'm looking to see if I can find a good cruise, maybe for 2026, into 2026, 2027, I can cruise the Caribbean, but I have not done that yet. Speaking of big ships, we went out to Los Angeles. We went out to the docks and saw the Fleet Week, where if you're sailing on Norwegian, or if you're sailing on Princess Cruise Lines, you'll sail out of the San Pedro port. Carnival sails out of the Long Beach port, but all the other cruise lines in Los Angeles sail out of the San Pedro port. And we went there during Fleet Week, which is sponsored by the U.S. Navy. And we went on some U.S. Navy ships. That was a great episode and a great time as well. In July, we went back to Mexico and we went to Puebla, Mexico. And we saw some amazing sights there. We actually got to hang out with elephants, giraffes, and lions out there. It was, by definition, wild. But I love Puebla, the state of Puebla, and the capital. We saw this city called Valquerico. Valquerico is an Italian village in Mexico. We saw an English castle while we were there. There are some amazing things in the state of Puebla, Mexico. Later on in August, we went to the Santa Monica Pier. I live in California. Our summers are amazing here in California. And then we went to Santa Monica, which is just by the beach, and we saw some old relics in San Fernando, and we had some amazing times on the beach. So that's a video that you might be interested in. We went out to Rancho Cucamonga. We did a lot of day trips. A lot of the things that we do are weekend day trips. Here in California, we're blessed that you can spend so many weekends. We went to Rancho Cucamonga. We went and did a race in Apple Valley. And then we went out further. We went to places domestically too. We went to Salt Lake City, to Utah. We went to Portugal. I've been showing those Portugals. We went to Italy. That was a crazy trip. On 4 days, went to 2 different countries. That was a crazy weekend. We went downtown LA to Hollywood. That's another video. And then we have a Disneyland video. It's all coming up. And so you might be wondering, what's the kind of budget on this? So I actually broke it down. I was looking at it, and the overall budget for 2025 for travel was $20,734.76. And basically how that breaks down is most of it was in hotels and activities, tours. That's $12,882.94. Flights were $3,648.74. Restaurants were $2,539.19. We do a lot of eating from supermarkets, but you do go out to restaurants when you go traveling. Entertainment was $1,344.43. And then sightseeing was actually only $319.46. So $20,000 per year for travel is definitely not what I'd call a budget travel. I know some people live off of $20,000 a year, and that's actually my travel budget. Luckily, I am blessed to have a job that pays me very well. I am very grateful for my job. I have a great job that gives me not only a good pay, but it gives me good time off. And I am so blessed to have a great job, because YouTube by itself, this video is not paying the bills. $20,000 a year is what my travel budget is. And it'll probably be, well, some of that actually spilled into next year's budget, because we already have several trips already paid for out of that budget into next year. We've already paid for flights. So in 2026, we're going to be hitting it off big time. If you haven't watched the channel already, you'll see that we went to the Rose Bowl Parade. So many views on that video. I'm glad people are enjoying the Rose Bowl Parade. Look for more Southern California content. Those travel adventure cards that I was showing in that video. We're going to be doing a series called the Travel Adventure Card Series, which is actually a set of cards. I'll show them to you. So for Christmas, not only did I get this fancy mic, but I also got these cards. I'm not sponsoring them, but they're called the Adventure Bucket List cards, and I have the Los Angeles edition. And so basically the way it works is you pull out one of these cards, and you'll see here they're scratch-off cards. So they're scratch-off cards that look like this one. This one says, wander the whimsical aisles of the last bookstore and find a new book to read. So you scratch off these cards, and it will give you a weekend adventure in downtown Los Angeles, or around downtown Los Angeles. And they have different dollar signs. This is a $1 sign. And so we'll be doing more of what I call the Bucket Adventure List. These are the Bucket Adventure List cards. And look for the first episode coming out soon. That'll be in Echo Park. But we'll be doing at least 50 of these this year. So that's a lot of adventures there. I've already booked and paid for 3 cruises for next year. We're on the Carnival Frenzy 3 times already next year. And we have 2 domestic flights for next year. We are going to be going to Charlotte, North Carolina next year. And we are going to be going to Nashville, Tennessee. Those are already booked, paid for. So those are guaranteed that we're going to be going to those. And then the big trip for 2026 is we will be going in March to Amsterdam and Belgium in Europe. As long as the whole visa thing goes through, I'm a little bit worried this year because of travel in Europe. It's going to be interesting because starting in 2026, Americans will now have to pay for a tourist card fee. My understanding is not going to be much. It's going to be like maybe $20 per person. but my son and I were planning for a big trip in Amsterdam, Netherlands, and then going to Bruges, Belgium. And so that's going to be our big Europe trip. And then after that, who knows? There's still more adventures to come. So I hope you enjoyed this year in review, and thank you for letting me test out this new microphone system. I'm very excited about it. Again, for the foreseeable future, we will be releasing videos on Tuesday and Friday. Hopefully that's not too many videos, but there's just so much stuff to see. 2025 was such an excellent year for travel. I know there's a lot of doom and gloom out there on the internet, and people say don't travel, but I would encourage you to travel if you can. Traveling is great. You don't have to travel far. There's a budget for everything. You can travel expensively, which we do sometimes, and sometimes you can travel very cheap. Some of our adventures that we do, you'll see, cost no money, except for maybe just the gas money to get there, or you can even walk there. There's so many ways to do travel. You just have to prioritize it. Hope you're enjoying these videos, and we will see you on the next adventure, and thank you for watching.